recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight. Too many runaways eating up the night. Marconi plays the mamba. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember? We built this city.
Alexa,
We built
stop.
this city on rock and roll.
Welcome to the City Show. Pat O'Melia here, live on GGR. Just shut off my buddy Alexa. It is a beautiful night. They say it's going to rain, but it's a nice night tonight. As I say each week, tell your friends, tell your mom's friends, tell somebody's friends. Download the app, the Live 365. There's a lot of programming on Live 365 besides what we do. It's a lot free, a lot of podcasts, a lot of entertainment, a lot of entertaining things on there. But most importantly, you got GGR. We got the school system coming back into play. I'll have my high school kids back in the studio. I got some college kids coming in tomorrow. I intend to having these kids on the radio a lot. I got my gun show starting, I think, in 2 weeks. So if you're a gun aficionado, we got a show for you. What are we going to talk about today? Well, let me get my list up here. It's a very busy day. And usually I get more prep time for what I want to do on the show. But I just finished a Zoom meeting. It's very busy. Bayonne Little League, got to talk about them when we open up. There was a rally in Jersey City, make polluters pay. We'll talk about that. Five Corners Library, Hoboken bike lanes. The county's stepping into making some affordable housing. I disagree where they're trying to put it, but we get into that. We want to talk about DSA. They're all over the news. Democratic Socialist group. We want to talk about some of their ideologies, and we have some in Jersey City. Jake Efrose is DSA. Great kid. I don't agree with his ideology, but he's a great kid, and I think he'll be a successful council person. Talk about the Brenner Courthouse with the court park and air conditioning. So many things. But first, we got to pay for the show. We're going to break for commercial. Again, you're listening to the City Show here on GGR. I'm Pat O'Melia. We'll be right back.
There's Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers, Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space storage location, extraspace.com. Hi, I'm Pat O'Melia with the Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. You may have heard me talk about teaching high school juniors and seniors studio and radio production. The hope is when these kids graduate and wish to continue their education, they may receive college scholarships, or if not, they will have the experience from our program to get employment at the major motion movie studios here in New Jersey and New York. I started a GoFundMe where you can make a donation completely tax deductible to help these kids and the studio program. Please go to GoFundMe and type in Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network. I thank you now for your generosity. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue, right at the intersection of Clifton Avenue and Route 37 at Toms River. Your local source for all your firearm, ammo needs, and accessories. Plus, gunsmithing, repair, and cleaning on site. And coming soon, firearm training, and classes. Toms River Armory, 732-569-3730. On the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue at the intersection of Route 37 and Clifton Avenue in Toms River. Visit on the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space Storage location, extraspace.com.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
All right, we're back. You're listening to the City Show here. Pat O'Melia live on GGR. Couple of things. First of all, you get Bayonne Little League kids. Tremendous. Those kids are playing Wednesday. It's on ESPN. I think it's ESPN 5 o'clock. They're playing New England. You say there's a whole list of them that they're playing. A whole group of teams playing on Wednesday. I think Bayonne's next to the last game, 5 o'clock. So if you got ESPN, I think, again, 5 o'clock, check the listings. I know the commission has posted it on their Twitter websites and their social media. Got the whole schedule there. Great group of kids. I hope they go a long way. They always talk about Toms River in Jersey with the Little League. Hey, maybe you get Bayonne versus Toms River. That would be a great matchup. Go Bayonne, go Bayonne. Good luck there, Bayonne. I'll be watching on Wednesday. This week, I told you about all my injuries, from getting a knee done, and we had a bacteria in my blood, and all the things that were happening, pneumonia, blood clots, all that. I've been working on my cars. I want to work on my cars. I enjoy doing that. I have a hard time walking right now. Hopefully, I'm going to be at this pain management place in a couple of weeks. They can help me along. I just need some good drugs. The Percocets aren't too bad. They can get me functional. I had a headlight out on my Chevy, my 2000 Chevy Evo. So I got to get a bulb. Go to AutoZone, get the bulb. Figure, why I'm at it, let me replace all the bulbs on that side in the front. Do the blinker, mark a light at the same time. Whoever engineers these cars, you have to replace the bulbs. There are no lifetime bulbs. What a pain. You had two choices. I can remove the battery to get access to the light, or I can take the light fixture out. Now, I don't want to remove the battery because there's a lot of electronics in this car, even though I do have the back charge. Little 9-volt battery you plug into your, what I still call a cigarette lighter, and that'll run a charge through the car so you can keep all your settings and all your electronics intact. I elected to pull the headlight out. How do they design these things? And some of these cars, like my 2007 Lincoln, you got to be a contortionist to change the oil filter. You got to change the oil filter, so you should make that out in the open. But I don't want to rush summer, but winter's here, so I'm starting to already work on my cars. I got one car at CNC in Tom's River. I got my other car at Juan's in North Bergen there on Patterson Plank Road by the Basics. My Oldsmobile's up there. I'm starting to get things ready for the winter. I'm going to be bringing my Kia down to Juan probably tomorrow. I'm going to pick up the Oldsmobile, drop the Kia off. There's some work I want to do. I'm going to replace the antenna on the Kia. On the emergency brake, the rubber molding came off. Had a hard time tracking that down, but I found it. So I'm getting my cars ready for winter, but I always stay on top of my cars. I try to do what I can, but physically it is difficult for me right now with the back and the narrowing of the spinal canal and the nerves are being pinched. And all I wanted to do was get my knees done. And it started with one test that Dr. Mayella said, why don't we find out you make sure you're okay to do these knee surgeries. Downhill and went from there. Make polluters pay. Make polluters pay. Forget make somebody pay but us. I agree. If you were a polluter, if you polluted the land or the water, you should pay. What we're trying to do here with Make Polluters Pay is predominantly aimed at the oil industry. You're going to pay for the products that we use every day. Gasoline, oil, heating oil, everything you touch, plastics, it's all oil in there. We want to make them pay. And they also, we'll get like $50 billion over 20 years, and we can do our sewers and we can fix this. It's their fault that they have the oil, and it's their fault that we buy the oil every day. I don't agree with this. Make the polluters pay. Exxon, Mobil, BP, blaming them for climate change. Now, I know this is going to surprise a few people. I'm not a climate change person. I think the Earth goes through these cycles. Yeah, I remember we were talking about hurricanes, the worst hurricanes in New Jersey, and like the top 10 of them occurred like before 1930. Yeah, like in the 1800s. Who were we blaming then for the hurricanes? Yeah, they keep this climate change, and it's our fault, and we can change it. Well, first, like with the polluters, the United States is probably, in my generation, has done as much cleaning up from polluting from the previous generation than all of them. I remember, I grew up alongside the Hackensack River. You couldn't see a fish in there. You were looking for killies, you couldn't see them. Now you could. My generation did a lot of cleaning up. Next generation is doing a job also. We did. I agree with cleaning up. If they're somebody who polluted Exxon or PS&G, whoever it was, polluted the land, they should pay for that. Especially if they knowingly did it. They were burying drums or something like that. Where I come from, Dog Patch, there's a lot of buried drums down there. When I was a kid, I played on drums that were oozing whatever the hell it was oozing. It's probably why I have all these problems now. But just to make polluters pay. Because first off, the United States is doing a pretty damn good job. We probably got more further to go, being better to the environment, but we're certainly better than we were. But the problem is, it's a big world, and it's a global world. You got China. China's a pretty big polluter. And you know what's a big polluter? India. India pollutes the hell every day. Russia, another big polluter there. Now, we're going to make people pay here because it's convenient. And we want to take that money. And at the rally today, there was 2 rallies in Jersey City. One, Mayor Solomon was there, make the polluters pay. Had like 20 people there. And then you had another one, the anti-tax people, who had a truck riding around showing Solomon, and I think it was Jake Efrose and Joel Brooks and Aline Little. And I think the person who looked like George Washington was Katie Brennan. I don't know if you've seen that Katie Brennan video she did. A lot of green screen work there, where it had to do with tax bills, and she's dancing around. The production values were very good. They were protesting the 15% tax increase, which is going to be completely formalized this Wednesday. We've seen that you already got your tax bill. The shock is there. What are you going to do with them? How are you going to pay it? That would have been nice if they gave you a little more time. They had to give like 10 days for the tax bill. Landlords are going to pass it along, and it's more an affordability issue. We have to stop doing this, taxing the hell out of you. And in this case, you got taxed 15.5% by the municipality, 14.5% by the county. I think it was 8. Somebody told me it was 14% from the Board of Ed. I got to check it. I think my notes was 18%, but it's a triple taxation. Like I said, we have to come up with other methods. You know, we elected a young mayor. The young mayor needs to act like a young mayor. Don't act like these old mayors that did. This is how we always did it for the last 40 years. Find new ways to do this, but not on the backs of people. Yeah, you want to take a Hail Mary at the polluters thing. You know, the more we tax them, the more we're going to raise the price of gasoline or the oils for the plastic or the heating or whatever it is. It's just going to roll back on us. And they were talking about flooding. Let me tell you one of the problems with flooding in Jersey City. First off, it says many times Jersey City is a hill. You know, if you're on the west side, you're West Side Avenue, you're at the bottom of the hill. Same thing, you're on Washington in Jersey City, you're at the bottom of the hill. So you're going to get some water down there. But it wasn't always terrible. You know, I grew up in Jersey City. There was some flooding, but it wasn't like it is now. And that's not from climate change. We still had rain. We had rain back then. We had rain when I was a kid. Now I live again in a dog patch at the bottom of the hill, going toward the Hackensack River. We never had flooding down there. Problem is, and it's still no flooding down there, but you know what? Not a lot of development down there. We overdeveloped everywhere. We've caused a lot of our own flooding problems. They knew in Hoboken. Hoboken had flooding problems all the years of Hoboken. Now they have some serious flooding problems because they kept building and building and building. We'll knock down a unit that was 6 apartments, or brownstone per se, and then we'll put like a 40-story building on that same footprint, that same sewer, and we wonder why we have problems. That's where the flooding came from. And you can talk to climate. I'm not a climate change guy, and not me. I see a lot of problem with overdevelopment is cause of a lot of our issues. But you know, this thing about make the polluters pay, it's only going to roll back on us again. Somewhere along the line, we have to stop rolling it back on the backs of the working people here in New Jersey. We have to find other ways. Yeah, you try to put it on business is just going to put it on whatever the product is, and you're going to pay for it. You know, you want to roll, polluters, and you're going to pay more for gasoline. Whatever you do, whatever you raise the tax, you're going to pay more for a hamburger. You're going to be paying more for everything the next few weeks once all these tax increases are passed along, and it's unfortunate. We need to come up with a different way of doing things. The way we're working right now, we run things the same way we did for the last 100 years. I was talking about this last week. Out of the box, whatever cliche you want to throw in there, we've got to come up with something. Five Corners Library. There's a possibility that may not reopen because of the air conditioning. Now, I don't want to cast stones here. Now, the Hudson County Commission has just approved air conditioning for the Brennan Courthouse. Magnificent building. And magnificent. These new air conditioning systems. It was built before there were air conditioning, and on the Wendick system that's in there now it's probably a bunch of window units there. I know, like the what we call the new courthouse, even though you got the Frank Arini Justice Center, the big green one that we've always called the new courthouse. Yeah, there's like a gazillion window air conditioners there. The price for the air conditioning in the Brennan Courthouse is $33 million. All the heat and air conditioning and heating. That seems a lot, but it's a historic building. There's probably a lot of work that's going to go into running the heating and air conditioning in there. Now, it seems like a lot when I looked at it on the agenda, but it's a big building, and there's probably 1 million steps you got to take to get heating and air in there. So it's probably a good price, I'm sure. I guarantee you the county did their due diligence with the estimate on that. But it brings me back to the Five Corners. We may lose the Five Corners Library because of the air conditioning and the heating. The same thing. It's right down the street at the Brennan. I'm sure it will be cheaper than the Brennan Courthouse to fix the air conditioning in the Five Corners. I thought the Five Corners was built in the mid-'60s. Actually, it was the late 50s. I thought when I was a kid, I thought that opened when I was like 7 or 8 years. I remember going there. My mistake, it was built late 50s. That's an excellent library. It has a long way to go. I know some people are probably looking at that, some developers, some people would like to buy the land, put 40 stories on there or something. That is vital to that part of Jersey. That is a meeting place. That's where people get some job training. They do their whatever they do. It's not just reading books in the libraries anymore. There's a lot to it. And actually, I'm just getting into this library situation. I didn't realize that Brisky Street was moved over to what I guess is the all-purpose municipal building. What was the parking authority building? The library's there. I got to find out if the Brisky's going to open. As I heard from some people that it's not going to reopen. But I had thought we were renovating. I thought the renovations were all done. So I got to look into that. But when you're talking about the library in Five Corners and, well, what are we going to do with the air conditioning? Right down the street, they're going to do a massive HVAC program with the Brennan. I'm sure we can pull something off here. And that's something you probably wouldn't mind bonding for. Because that's going to be there for a long time, and you can pay off the bonds over time. You don't want to bond for your bills. You bond for something that, like that, upgrading the library, yeah, you can do that. That makes sense to me. Let me get into this. Bike lanes in Hoboken. Now, I am noted for not being in favor of bike lanes. They're not utilized. And yeah, I think the number is like 10% of the population utilizes a bike riders. And that's 5 days, 7 days a week. There's a lot of people riding bikes on the weekends, casual bike riders. But about 10% supposedly use the bikes every day going to work. But I don't see that 10%. When I'm on Central Avenue, I don't see that. When I'm on the boulevard, I don't see that. When I'm going down to City Hall, and it's funny when I go down to City, because I would tell Full every time I go down how many bikes I see. I would take it from Montgomery Street on, going down to City Hall. I didn't see any bikes. I see a lot of green patch. I didn't see any bikes. Where's the bikes there, Steve? Where'd they go? There just isn't enough utilization for us to invest so much in infrastructure for bikes. And we just went through the winter. They had a bike play to plow the bike lanes, how you clean the bike lane. There just isn't enough utilization. Bikes aren't a 24/7, 365 mode of transportation. If it's freezing outside, you're not riding a bike. If it's snowing outside, you're not riding a bike. If it's raining outside, you're not riding a bike. If it's hot as hell outside, you're not riding a bike. Unless you got some shower you can jump in town and work. You're going to pedal along at 100-degree temperature. I doubt you're doing that. Hoboken actually acknowledges during a council meeting that there are far more cars than bikes. And Hoboken is under the former mayor. Under the former mayor, just leave it at that. They put in these bike lanes. And these bike lanes are screwed up Hoboken. The business community doesn't like them. The people who live on the block don't like them. Very few people are in favor of the bike lane. So they had a council meeting where actually people from Jersey City, they had people coming and talking in favor of the bike lanes. Where are you from? Oh, I'm Jersey City. Get out of here. Basically, Hoboken was like, we'll handle Hoboken. Jersey City, get the hell out of here. They voted 7-2, I think it was, to remove the bike lanes. Now, Emily, the new mayor, she Jabor, she may fight to keep the bike lanes there. They're hurting business. They're not being utilized. They make it very difficult to park. It's kind of like one of the woke things that happened over the last 10 years with the bikes. It's just not practical. Now, I know Bike JC is probably grinding their teeth. It's not practical. They're not utilized. And if anything I see now, it's the e-bikes. And we got to get the e-bike enforcement going on because it wasn't being enforced on Central Avenue. But I applaud the council people in Hoboken for realizing and just acknowledging what we all know. They're just not utilized. There are like 1,000 cars to each bike. And when in the winter, the numbers even expand even more. I know I'm talking to the preacher to the choir here. It is not utilized. Jersey City has got to turn around and do the same. You want to put some bike lanes on the outskirts of Jersey City? Fine. Do we need them on Summit Avenue? No. Do you need them on Central? No. The stupid bike idea on Franklin Street, what an asinine idea that is. That should be stopped in its tracks. Hopefully people just realize this is stupid. They realize at least with Manhattan Avenue, they're going to turn that into a one-way bike lane. And they realize how stupid this is. What stupid is, stupid does. So they want to have Franklin Street. So we're going to have a bike lane to nowhere. And that's the other problem. These bike lanes really go to nowhere. Well, like I said, you want to put them on the outskirts at Jersey City, fine, so you can pedal around. But on Kennedy Boulevard, no. People are going to get hurt. Simple as that. You know, the people on the bikes, they're lawless. But I mean, I was backing out of a driveway. This is this morning? Or was it yesterday morning? I'm backing out, and the city on the bike comes right behind my car. You see the car's moving. I just caught him out of the corner of my eye in the rearview mirror, this bike, and I stopped in time. It's like almost getting out of supermarkets. I don't know how there aren't bodies in the supermarket parking lots every day. It is the worst place to back a car out of. But that was a situation. So as soon as that kid did it, I'm thinking in my mind, you don't see a moving car? But then again, in the supermarket parking lots, I don't see moving cars. Lights are on. That's why I'm thinking about getting those beepers for your reverse lights. They sold them years ago. I don't know if they still have them. Replace your reverse light bulb with this. Your bulb still goes white, but it beeps. But these people are so freaking stupid. And the thing is, these people in the I'm getting off my track here. People in the supermarket, they're backing out of spots too. They know the problem. But then once they get out of the spot, it's like, oh, I'm so stupid. Let me drive down the road. Let me ride down the other lane here. And that car's moving. I'm not going to stop. I see the car moving. You know, the guy, whoever's backing out of there, might have very limited sight until he can get out in the open. But yeah, you just keep going because you're stupid. Stupid people. The County of Hudson. Affordable housing. Let me have a sip of coffee every time we say affordable. I try not to say affordable on this show, but we do it anyway. Craig Guy is really stepping up. He's talking about building about 1,500 units of affordable housing. That would dwarf whatever Jersey City has built. I mean, Jersey City. Not making a deal with the devils. We'll give you 5 more floors on the building. You give us some affordable housing, the 15% affordable housing for X amount of years. Craig Guy's talking about 1,500 affordable units forever. And not term, not 20 years or anything like that. He's talking about building on county property. In some cases, county parking lots. And he was talking about County Plaza, a place that I go to quite often. Every time I go to County Plaza, their parking lots are full. Now, people, again, drive to work. They drive to County Plaza. Those lots are full. I don't know where he's talking about building some of the affordable housing at County Plaza in those parking lots. I don't know where he's talking about because like every one of those lots are full. And I don't know what you're doing with the employees. Maybe getting rid of them. I don't know, because you go there anytime at County Plaza, those lots are full. And there's quite a few lots there. I know they just bought some property. I think they settled on it to the left of County Plaza. It's like 1 or 2 blocks long. Maybe you could build there. I just don't know about doing on the parking lots. But I applaud Craig Guy for taking the initiative here and saying, listen, we're the County of Hudson. We normally don't get involved in this, but we're going to build housing. And we're going to build affordable housing on county-owned property, which they probably have a lot of property throughout the County of Hudson that they can build on. And he's not talking about, they're going to deal with developers, at least not as I understand it. The county itself is going to build it. Well, a contractor, and they'll probably get a good contractor to build these things. They won't be done with county personnel building them. I applaud them. That's probably how it used to be. Where you got Curry Woods, where we lived at 71 Merritt Street, 7C until my mother died. It was a beautiful building. We were moving on out of Dog Patch, moving on up. When we moved on up to Curry Woods, again, 71 Merritt Street, 7C. Unfortunately, Mom passed away. Back to Dog Patch for me. Back then, it was the feds, it was the state, it was the county, and the municipality were involved in building affordable housing. Curry Woods was a magnificent development. Heckman Drive and Merritt Street. But again, as the late Bill Gorhan said, Jersey City is one of the worst landlords there are. And we allowed those buildings to fall into a tremendous state of disrepair. These were brick buildings, by the way. They went to a state of disrepair. My Mom passed away in '66. We weren't there very long, but long enough that even as a kid, I knew these buildings were nice. It was a nice surrounding. They had like a building for arts and crafts. You had boulders, nice fence. Unfortunately, like I said, Mom passed away. So off the door patch, I go back there, back to my family. Back in somewhere in the 70s, I think around 78. Yeah, I think I just got married, moving my Aunt Rose out of Heckman. I think she lived in 3 Heckman Drive. And I'm going back to Kerry Woods. It's beautiful buildings, nice black, like marble floor with the gold treatments. What a effing dump these things turned into. Oh, it was amazing. The fences were all gone. There were boulders gone. I remember they had like decorative boulders. The boulders were gone. Going into the building, it reeked. The elevators reeked of urine. It was so terrible. And eventually, there's only one building left, one on Heckman Drive. I applaud Craig Guy, and hopefully we will manage the property much better than we did with Kerry Woods. And a lot of the Holland Gardens, Montgomery Gardens, those were nice buildings, even though you knocked them all down. Marion Gardens, those were nice buildings. All the Duncan projects fell to the same fate of Kerry Woods. The buildings were in a state of tremendous disrepair, and the prevailing thinking was we can't let lower income and middle income live in high rises. We'll build some townhouses. So they knocked down Duncan projects, as they did with Kerry Woods, and they replaced it with townhouses. Where you had, let's just say, for the sake of math, where you might have had 3,000 residents living in the original complex. Now you had like 300 people. So you dispersed almost, 90% of the people that lived in that area because you don't have the high rises anymore. Manage the property properly. Low income and middle income, yes, they can live in high rises just like the rich people. That can work. I'm promising you, that can work. I tell you what, let's break for commercial. You're listening to The City Show. I'll be right back. Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space Storage location, extraspace.com.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space Storage location, extraspace.com. Hi, I'm Pat O'Melia with the Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. You may have heard me talk about teaching high school juniors and seniors studio and radio production. The hope is when these kids graduate and wish to continue their education, they may receive college scholarships. Or, if not, they will have the experience from our program to get employment at the major motion movie studios here in New Jersey and New York. I started a GoFundMe where you can make a donation completely tax deductible to help these kids end the studio program. Please go to GoFundMe and type in Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network. I thank you now for your generosity. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue, right at the intersection of Clifton Avenue and Route 37 at Toms River. Your local source for all your firearm, ammo needs, and accessories. Plus, gunsmithing, repair, and cleaning on site. And coming soon, firearm training and classes. Toms River Armory, 732-569-3730. On the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue at the intersection of Route 37 and Clifton Avenue in Toms River. Visit on the net at tomsriverarmory.com. And I'm back. Pat O'Melia here, City Show, live on GGR. Don't forget, tell your friends, download that app, Live 365, so you can enjoy us here. But you can follow us on YouTube. GGR, all the shows are uploaded to YouTube. And we really got to start working on the other, the Spotifys of the world. And that when the high school kids come back, I'm going to give that job to one or two of the kids that do the posting on Spotify and Apple. It's kind of like a podcast here. Democratic Socialists of America. Their ideology kind of amazes me. Like I said, we have some here. We got Joe Brooks, Ward B, councilperson, Jersey City, and Jake Epros, Ward D, councilperson. I've been interacting a lot with Jake. I try to impart my knowledge, or I give him connections to people that could educate him into situations, especially when it comes to a budget situation. Jake's a good kid. I just don't agree with the ideology of socialism, especially since it never worked out. Well, somebody tell me where it worked, and then maybe I can listen. Free market capitalist. There's a reason the United States is the greatest country that has ever existed. Now, has it made everything been right? Have we made any missteps? Is there some mistakes that were made in the past? Sure. But at the end, greatest country in the world. Hopefully we can make amends to some of the things we had done in the past. But, it made us the greatest country in the world. So, yeah, you can't see me, but I got my hands going up and down. One of the things the DSA talks about is the disparity of wealth. Why is there a disparity of wealth? There's so many oligarchs, is that what they call it with Bernie Sanders, the oligarchs? There are probably more billionaires in the United States than ever before. There's probably more millionaires back than ever before. Remember the Beverly Hillbillies? It was like, you are a millionaire. There weren't a lot of millionaires back then. I think reason there's so much wealth and disparity is probably the internet coming out of the 90s and the 2000s and the Apple, the technology turned around. We're all tech now. Yeah, I remember a time when, we didn't have many things that ran on electric. You had a TV, you had a stereo, you didn't have everything in your house running on electric. For that matter, I was watching the Waltons. My wife's a big fan of the Waltons, and I watched the show. Well written, by the way, the Waltons. Actually, well shot too. Good camera work there, and I'll put well acted in also. But I pointed out my wife. I said, their living situation is much different than today. You just don't see a computer in there. Well, in the case of the Waltons, you didn't see a TV in there. There's these electronic things that we have, but basically it's the same. Living spaces we have, just that there's some of the electronics. And I said, that's why you didn't have a lot of outlets back then. You didn't have many things that ran on electricity. When I was growing up, you had TV, maybe a stereo. That was it. And that clock radio we all had. And that was even later, the clock radio back then, it was in the late 70s and the 80s. That clock radio, every family, we just didn't have a lot of need. Now there's things plugged in everywhere. You got your chargers here, everything, all these things are in here. That's probably where the disparity of wealth started. But one of the things I'll point out is these people earned it. Now, I am not a rich person. I'm 100 if that. The Elon Musk of the world and the Bezos. Yes. I think Elon's a trillionaire now, for that matter. They've earned it. Elon started with PayPal, and then he purchased Tesla, and he had SpaceX and Nurex, and all these other things that Eli's into, all creating jobs. By the way, same thing with Bezos with Amazon. He's a billionaire, but how much did he invest in? How much did he change the lives of so many people who are working for Amazon? So the disparity of wealth. The United States, you can be what you want. Now, listen, I fell on my ass twice in business. And, fortunately, in this country, you can dust yourself off and get up. You can acquire a trade, a craft. You can get into real estate. Sometimes you need money to make money. Tell you what, it costs a lot of money to be not have money. You don't have money, things are going to cost you a lot. But you could do what you want. You push to have your kids to get an education and a skill, and hopefully they're doing well. They're working in a fine company, or they've started their own company. This turning around and taking wealth from the Robin Hood idea of taking wealth from somebody who's successful, got an education, became a doctor, or invested well, was musically gifted, whatever the case is. They were able to make money. They were gifted with real estate. And you really got to know the real estate market. Right now, probably a dummy could make money in the real estate market. But, before this big boom we're going through, you had to make sure people lost money in real estate. Many athletes have lost money getting into real estate. You got to be smart about that. For that matter, the Kushners. I know it's a terrible name in Jersey City. Oh, Kushners. Just bought the Lakers. Young guy, too. And you know what? He's part of the Kushners, but the kid earned the money. And Bob Iger, Disney, you know what, Bob Iger? He earned the money. He got the skill. He was an agent. He was a producer, headed up Disney, did well with Disney, had the stocks and became wealthy. He earned it. They all earned it. That's the thing with the United States. You earn it. We have situations where if you need it, you can get help. But the country is wide open for you to earn it. I'm a stupid trailer mechanic. I was fortunate, to get into radio, but I had the ability to do radio with the wrestling show back then. And fortunately, when 9/11 came, and that was it for the trailer business, I was in the radio, and little did I know, I was wondering what I was going to do. I was going to drive a truck or something like that. Little did I know that the radio would become my career. And for the last almost 30 years now, been radio, TV, and we got a studio now. The economy, things are tough right now in the studio business, but it's tough in a lot of business. So you hang in there and you try to do the best you can. That's why I'm shifting into teaching the kids. But, I've had the opportunity, but I was prepared for the opportunity. That's the difference. It wasn't given to me. There's time of radio where they would slam the doors in my face. That's why I help these kids. That's why, I got people in the studio. I remember when you couldn't get help. They didn't want to deal with you to slam the door. I got guys working in the studio. producing air shows. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help these young people. I don't think you should be taking money from people because they are successful to give to people who didn't get an education, didn't learn a skill, didn't go to the vocation school to learn how to weld or learn plumbing or electrical, which are pretty damn good paying jobs these days. And as a kid, I went to Votech in North Bergen to weld those, repairing trailers. Oh, I should have went to the plumbing. Those guys make or electrical. Why did I go to the welding? But I was a trailer mechanic. Yeah, they were teaching electrical there. I could have went to the other classroom, made that right-hand turn, could have been an electrician. Those guys making buku bucks. But that's the thing. They went out and they earned. They learned. They did their apprenticeship. Now the electricians are making good money. Who are we, or anyone, to say, well, you're making too much money. We got to take some from you and give it over to these people who did nothing. That's not how this country became the greatest country on the face of the earth or through all time. You can do pretty much, they say whatever you want. Maybe, but you can be successful. Those opportunities are out there, but you have to have the skill, the craft, the education, the experience, whatever the case is, take advantage of that opportunity. And that's what happened with me in the studio. Now, do I know anything about editing and lighting and mics and all that? No, but I had a good idea. And I took the chance, and I got good people around me, and that's what built the Hudson Media Group. They're talking about taxing billionaires. Everybody's attacking these billionaires. Those billionaires run a lot of money into the United States, creating opportunities, creating jobs. They're not just stuffing their pockets. They're talking about taxing billionaires, like 70, 80, 90% tax bracket. Who the hell comes up with these things? Again, just because these people are successful, we should reach in their pocket. And because of their success, we should penalize them. Nobody's raising their kids to be a failure. The schools do the best they can. I think the teachers. I've never met a bad teacher. Now, I'm not well educated, but I remember going through school. I don't remember a bad teacher that I experienced through my education. And I deal with these schools now. All these teachers seem to be friggin' pretty good. I'm trying to open a spot in Jersey City. I would like to bring my program there. I'm talking to Mayor Solomon about some space. Hopefully we can get some, and I can bring the program there, and we can start teaching Jersey City kids all about radio and TV and radio production. We have the equipment. For that matter, we were supposed to start opening the phone line today. We have a toll-free number for the radio. Mike and I were working on it today. Mike is my guy in the studio. I could get Mike calling in on the toll-free number. And for information, we will get this working, by the way. 855-999-0799. I could get Mike into my mixer. I could get Mike into what we call the butt here on the uploads for the show. I could get Mike everywhere. I can get him in our call studio. I can get the levels there. I couldn't get him on my headset. That was our problem. And I know it's something stupid simple. Now, here with me, I have a smaller version of our Roadcasters mixers, sound mixers. You see all these levers for levels for the microphones and all. I have a small version of it. What we use in the studio is a much larger version, and then there's the super version that we have. That's freaking humongous one that we got in the studio. This is the smaller one, and I know it's a stupid setting that we don't have. I'm pressing the wrong thing. So I'm going to take this to the studio tomorrow, get it set up so next week we'll have the phone lines working. Because the city show needs the phone lines, and we're going to start doing a Tom's River show, and the phone lines will come in really handy for that. But getting back to the DSA people, who some people wanted to get rid of Thanksgiving. These DSA people get rid of that. What is more of an American holiday than Thanksgiving? Get rid of Thanksgiving. That person lost the election, and nobody, even the DSA members who would vote, said, no. This is my buddy Stick Romano. Hold on. Stick, I'm on the air. Let me call you back. I could have gave him some cell phone thing there, but Stick Romano, good guy, commissioner. Probably one of the best people in Hudson County, Stick Romano. They want to get rid of Thanksgiving. And now listen to this one. I think it was Hung was her name. The more she talked, I'm like, how is this person in the same country as me? We're sharing the same air, and her beliefs are so friggin' opposite. Like I said, Jake and Joel here, and I think Elaine Little, I think they're all the DSA. I know Joel and Frozos. They're not talking about that. That's so radical. Yeah, jeez. Then we had this other woman. It was all this week that really amazed me with the DSA. New York Assembly Rep Emily Gallagher. She wants to legalize shoplifting. It's a need, she says. I guess it's a human need that we should legalize it, and they should be able to go into a CVS and steal toothpaste and soap. Now, most of these people, as you've seen over the last year, that's why everything behind lock and key now, they're not stealing the toothpaste and the soap. They're stealing the more valuable thing. But think about that. This is an elected official in New York, Emily Gallagher, who believes we should legalize shoplifting, allow it. And she was saying, why should we defend billion-dollar corporations like CVS when we have these people that have these needs? Well, if we don't, there won't be a CVS. They'll close it. Eventually, CVS would be gone. The mindset of these people is astonishing to me. I wonder if they got locks on their doors at home. Maybe you can let these people, they would like a nice place to sleep when they brush their teeth with the stolen toothbrush. Maybe they can come into your house. Emily Gallagher. And you let them sleep. No, probably won't do that, will you? Think about that. Legalize it, the mindset of it. Legalizing shoplifting. Doing away with Thanksgiving. Now, I don't think our guys here in Jersey City are like that, or Hudson County. But yeah, it's astonishing what they're talking about. Also, let me read this too. Right, you people have got to pay these taxes, and a tough one. Hey, you guys, there's a lot of taxes in the last week or so. You got the tax bill. I know the people on my block were quite surprised. See, one of the problems we have, we used to have the Jersey Journal. The Jersey Journal would cover these stories constantly. Now, we don't have that. Everything is, what we have now are websites. Unless you go looking for it, you're not going to find the stories. Now, there's still an NJ.com, but you got to find it. People weren't really following the situation with the taxes in Jersey City and the county and the Board of Education. Then they got the bill. And the funny thing is, everybody I spoke to, it was Sullivan. I explained to them there's 3 parts of that bill, and 2 parts Solomon has no control over. Still, it's the mayor. You got some tours going on here. Well, I'll help you with the taxes on August the 18th at Temple Bethel on 2491 JFK Boulevard. They're going to try to help you every way they can to lessen the tax bite on you, whether it might be filing for Anchor, whatever programs are available for you. On August the 20th at St. Aloysius Church at 691 West Side Avenue, you'll have those people there will be also trying to help you with this tax situation. Just go with those 2 for now. There's some in September. I'll save them for another show. Let me get back to my notes. Just want to make sure we got that out there. There's some help. People are trying to help. But, it's like a 3-pronged perfect storm of taxes there. Oh, by the way, in North Bergen there, the earthquake in Columbia, North Bergen is running a drive for donations, whether it's towels or diapers, anything that can help from the devastation of the earthquake there in North Bergen. Go to the North Bergen Township website if you want to make a donation. Whatever you can, it would be appreciated. It's devastating. I'm not sure what the situation is in Hawaii. They got hit with the hurricane. Last I heard, it was like a couple 100,000 people without electricity. There might be a drive coming for that also. But if you can, help the people. Columbia, whatever you can donate, whether it's an actual product or cash, again, go to the Township of North Bergen website. You'll get some instructions there on what you can do. Hugo Cabrera, he's one of the commissioners in North Bergen. He's spearheading this. He is the guy that's organizing this, and he's going to get all these donations over to Columbia. Getting back to the DSA people, I assume there's degrees of the DS, because they're radical Democrats and there's radical Republicans. I assume there's degrees, but if this was all in the last week, the legalizing the shoplifting, and the woman who lost her election, I think it was Wisconsin. She was running for, was it governor? Was it Wisconsin? Hogue. Getting rid of Thanksgiving. You may as well say, get rid of me as a candidate. But some of these DSA guys, they're making it. They're tight elections. They're tight primaries. It'll be interesting to see what happens in a regular general election with the DSAs. And there's problems within the Democratic camp. I don't know if that's going to help the Republicans in the midterms. It would help if we can get the gas prices down. But I seen a graphic today. I think it was on Pix 11. I was watching Pix 11 where they were doing a piece on the Bayonne kids with the Little League. So I was paying attention to that. And there was a graphic that a year ago, the price of gas was $4.13. Why was it so high then? I'm not sure what the reason was there. Now, I know what it is now with the Straits of Hormuz. The ceasefire agreement expired today. Do you think there was ever a ceasefire agreement in place over there? The Iranians, they can't keep their word on anything. So I don't know what Trump's exit plan is over there. I'm sure he didn't plan to be this long. He's in there like 4 months already. Last I heard, he was declaring the Straits of Hormuz American property. Maybe that's the best thing to do. And this way you keep the straits open to free trade, get the oil out of there. It probably wouldn't hurt to run a pipeline. So eventually you just work your way around all the insanity of the Middle East, which has been that way forever. But I have no love lost for Iran. I remember the hostage crisis. I remember Cole, the ship. I remember a lot of terrorist attacks. So whatever happens to Iran, what I would do if I was president, I would get the message out to the population. Get up in the mountains, because we're coming and we're just going to start leveling things. And every time we level something, whether it's a bridge or a power plant, I have the negotiators across the table from the Iranians say, what do you want to do next? But the thing is, you don't know who's calling the shots in Iran. The shots in Iran. That's one of the problems that the United States is having, trying to forge some sort of a peace plan here. First off, you don't know who you're negotiating with, and two, they don't seem to keep their word. And they're proving that year after year, not just recently. Going back to many administrations where they wouldn't let the inspectors come in. Whatever the case was, there was always a problem with Iran. So I don't know how you can deal with them. Probably, but it's easier to deal with the DSA. Like I said, there's some DSA guys in Jersey City. I like Epros. I'm getting to know Joe Brooks a little. I don't think I ever spoke with Elaine Little. Not sure she's a card-carrying DSA member. But the ideology just doesn't work. It's opposite of what made this country what it is, socialism. It's not going to work here. It'll never work here. But, I think there are people who will vote for the DSA way of life because, put it this way, they're lazy. They would like things to be handed to them. That's not how this country works. I don't want to say you can be anything you want, but you can be successful in this country if you want to do it. All right, we're out of show. Hopefully next week, hopefully I have the phone calls, the phone's working. Like I said, I had it through the mixer. I had it through the studio call. I just couldn't get it into the headphone. And if I can't hear you, we can't handle the phone call. All right, you be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you during the week. Good night.
Say you don't know me, I recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight.